Hi everyone, let's try and get this one finished off. So first of all, I just wanted to show you some of the things hanging around on my desk. Look at that. Talk about colours that match in. Look at nature sometimes to give you incentive. And I found this, dried flowers. Look at the colour. I'm thinking that could stand some rust when I see it there, you know, just to perk this colouring up. Here I've got some yellow roses that I'm just letting them dry out to see what happens. Look at the colour there. Beautiful. So we're going to finish this one. I'm thinking when I saw this colour with it, I thought I liked that. So I've dragged out some of this. And I have some, maybe that one, just to add that bit of colour in there. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that out. And then I've got the threads that I was using before. And these. But really, I've got to work on this thing too, haven't I? It's not much of anything at the moment. But just for a start, I thought I might bring some colour in. And I'm thinking I might bring it in here with just doing some more seed stitch like we did. There we go. So it's a thicker thread and it has a bit of variation in it. With a little bit of green, a little tiny bit of rust. We're sort of heading towards this colour, you see. It's a more bland version. More bland, more, I don't know what the word is. But you'll see. I'm thinking we're going from virtually no colour to more colour. If that makes sense. You can come off and no, you can come off for now. Let's just get some of this joint in. So a little knot underneath, and I'll bring it up. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go down over the edge a little bit, onto that green, and then over onto this other, just to spread it around a bit. I think seed stitch, such a simple thing, works so very well in this. So I could do little groupings like that. I could go over here and do a bit. Oops, I could bring another colour in. Well, you know, I'm just going to start with just doing a pass across and just see where it leads me. It's pretty quick and easy, this one. Oops, my gum leaves are getting tangled. Uh-oh. Right, you can see here how that's worked. It's just adding another little bit of colour, and it reflects this colour. So that's good to add a little bit of that in. This piece has come off, but I sort of thought it would go a little bit over, maybe. Somehow. And maybe whilst we got this here, we can just do a bit of a start to attach it. And whilst I got a bit on, I might just do a bit of straight stitch to start holding it in place. So we had that as part of the plan, and we were going to bring that up. We've still got bits of brown if we want to. Don't know that I do. Let's see. Well, where is that little tiny piece? I saw it. When in doubt, it's stuck to the back. Alright, so on this one here, we were just going to do a little tuft. And these are the selvage edges of interesting materials. I like them. Okay, so that little tuft, maybe that little tuft would look better if it was on something dark. Maybe it's just a different shape. We'd see it more. So, what else? Well, I'm thinking more running stitches going across, creating those, you know, yeah, the depth in the landscape. So we're just going to try that for a little while, and I'm going to bring in some darker kind of colours. Like I said, I want to bring in this one. Okay, that'd be nice in there, I think. We're going to try it. I know it's all been sort of one colour, and that is quite pretty, but I think it could take a little something. When in doubt, just give it a go. And when you are stitching across, if you accidentally pull it too tight, don't forget that you can use your needle, the tip of the needle, to pull it and tease it back, you know, making those stitches a little bit looser. Before you end off, anything's possible. But continuing on, just going across, and then once you're at one end, turning around and going back, but making nice wavy lines where nothing is straight, it's all just contours of the landscape. So I'm just grabbing out some other few things. This is a novelty yarn. It's sort of variegated as well in all different kinds of colours in that orange pink kind of colour scheme. And this one here is made from sari silk. You know, the threads that are left, they wind it up and they make this lovely yarn. And it has all, you know, threads in there of all different colours, but this is predominantly this lovely rusty orange that I wanted to bring in. I was looking for something that would add texture. I was looking for something that I could couch on. And then I dragged out a few other variegated threads that are, you know, going to add that little bit of rusty colour that I wanted. So to start with, I start laying it down and seeing how I might like it. Now's your chance to try different ways and to see where you might want that colour or those contours, as I say, the furrows in the landscape. And when you do think you know what you want, you grab a thread. I'm using something that's matching. It's variegated as well. And I'm just coming up from underneath, and I just, sometimes I stitch through it, sometimes I do a little bar stitch over it. But however I do it, it's just to tack it down in the right position. I could always add more if I wanted something more special later, but I've used that variegated thread to go across and to hold that down. So now I'm just going to do a running stitch back, using up the rest of that thread, you know, just creating some more lines. Notice how when I sew, because I'm a right-hander, I tend to turn the work so that I'm going from right to left. So because I'm heading that direction now, I've turned it upside down. That makes it easy for me. But I'll go across like that with that lovely running stitch line. And then with the rest of the thread, I mean, maybe I might do a little bit of seed stitch here. Now I'll do the same again. Just with this last little bit that's left, I'm tucking the end under where I have that strip of the selvage of a interesting fabric. I used the selvages because I liked that they had a grassy kind of effect. I'm grabbing the mat board surround out now to have a look and decide to do a little bit of a trim to on that raffia that we used in the bottom left. just to add a bit of variation, make it more realistic. So I'm continuing along, doing some of these lovely lines across at the same time as I'm holding things down, you know, and I'm using a nice rusty red colour. So as I've gone across and I've come this far, I'm thinking I may as well use the last of that thread up and just sew in a few little long stitches, because yeah, that'll hold that down, and also it'll shade in the bottom. Because that raffia is all the one colour, this really does help to add depth. If you've ever seen something like this, you'll notice it's always darker at the bottom. These grasses. Now I'm going to have a look at some of that novelty yarn. It had long thin hairs, and it was a variegated orangey, goldy, pinky colour. And with this thread here, this thicker thread, I'm going to use it to attach down and maybe do some long diagonal stitches again, resembling grass, as you can see here. Let's now have a closer look at some of the detail. We have colour, we have texture, we have very simple stitches. It's looking really nice. So I'll finish putting this little bit on. I might give it a little bit more colour down the bottom here, you know, and I'll be nearly finished. I'll probably add just a little bit more stitching here in different colours, and yeah, and it'll be done. I'm really quite pleased with it as it is, so happy with that. I'm going to use another one of these to finish. Lovely hand dyed. And that's really one of my things too. I really do like to use nice variegated yarns, because I don't have to, you know, see how it adds so much, doesn't it, really? So I'm just going to start down here where I left off. And these will be the grasses in our foreground. And see, this is a thick thread. I'll probably finish off with some finer threads. Let's bunch it up a little bit, because I would like to have more pinky orange in this section. So it's all random, that's what I like. It's a beautiful colour. Quite pleased with adding this orange, kind of rusty ochre kind of tone in. Looks good. Pleased with it. Make sure it doesn't get too tight by giving it a little tug. Right, so that's the end of that thread, and I'll finish up now with some other threads. Just working on that grass, and that'll be it. Let's have a look again. See if we're just getting the bottom, not down there, I think right up there, so that it looks like that's your foreground there, with that concentrating on this, you know, in the corner. And I might want to trim a little bit more to make it more uneven, and, you know, spread it out, twist it, whatever. Maybe some of them are bent, but it makes quite nice grass, I think, that raffia. That was a nice little experiment. I'm just going to finish now with a few more little lighter colours at the top. Let's see what's in this box. That's an ice green with it. Or maybe a rust colour or this lovely old gold. I'm going to start with the old gold colour. It's virtually the colour of that golden raffia grass. And so I'm going to cut off a length, and I think I'll probably use 2 strands of this 6-strand floss. And, you know, and towards the end I'll go into just a single thread.
Start over here, because this
but it's nice to have variation.
a little bit of tweaking.
And as I stitch up through here, I'll be trying to move those fronds of that grass over and around. I'll bend some down, I'll separate some, I'll
probably might not even see
snip
that one,
some, but it's all about the variation in there. Holding it down, adding some extra stalks in there of different types of colours and textures. The same with the all the grass.
You can go over that way. It's a bit better, isn't it? Some going out further, just to make a nice feathery kind of edge. Okay, well, I'll continue. I'll do a little bit more gold, but let's bring a little bit of green in. Shows a very pale goldy green. It only has a tinge of green to what is essentially a gold. So I think that'll fit nice without, you know, it'll be subtle. A little bit of subtlety. So although we brought in another colour, it still looks nice and natural. You see how well those selvages and this bit of novelty kind of yarn worked? It all adds to it. So nothing is too precise. We're not trying to be photorealistic. We're not trying it to be a photo or a painting, although it does look like a painting, but more like a suggestion of things rather than trying to get everything exact, so that your imagination can take you the rest of the way as to what you want to see in it. Just going to go single threads.
Well, maybe one last thing. I'm thinking it would be nice to use a thicker thread. I've gone back to that light beigey colour, beigey grey, and I'm just doing a few French knots on the tops of this, the fronds of this blades of grass. Yeah, so I'm liking it. It could be like seed heads or flowers or something like that, but just adds that little bit of lightness there and a little bit of texture, and it was fun. So as you can see here, needle comes up from underneath. You wind the thread around the needle several times and then back in near where you started. I've got videos on it if you're really unsure, but let's have a look here at how well that worked. I really like it. It's got some good texture happening, and it does look like a painting, but I just love the colours. I think it's been a lot of fun. I hope you think so too, and you've enjoyed seeing part 3, the final episode of this nice project. And if you've liked it, don't forget to press like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time for the next video.